What's going on, guys? Haven't heard the brown boy on Utopia yet here. Shocking. Um, Back at it with another banger video. In today's video I'm going to be reviewing the brand new Travis Scott album Utopia. It's finally here. Um, Initially I was going to be doing an album reaction, but what can I say? I choose me. I'm sorry. I've listened to the album like 3 times in a row. Just back to back to back. I'll just poke myself in the eye. If you've not heard the album, what you're doing, honestly. But yeah, listen to the album before you watch this video because I will be speaking about features and stuff, and I don't want to be spoiling the album for people. But let's get into the review. Now, this track, Hyena, I don't know if that's how you say it or not, because it's definitely not the English spelling of hyena, is amazing. Like, honestly, this is a really great song. Um, you've got this more sort of abrasive, hard-hitting, but kind of old-school inspired beat. It kind of gave me Yeezus vibes. Um, and Travis absolutely goes off on it. Don't mind me, I'm just checking the notifications. Yeah, he goes off on here. It's pretty crazy. There's a load of weird, like, spoken word sections and stuff. It's very experimental. But yeah, a good opener. Thank God, that's what I said when Utopia finally came out. No, this track is interesting. It's got a beat switch on it. It starts off like with this weird sort of dark melody thing, and it's just Travis rapping over it, and there's no drums, and then it goes into this trap banger. And yeah, it's another one that's pretty good. Not really much more to say about it than that. Um, yeah, pretty good song. Modern Jam is one I'm going to get a lot of flack for, I think. I honestly, 3 listens into the album, and I still don't know what to think about this song. This is one that's either going to grow on me immensely to the point where it's my favourite song on the album, or grow off me to the point I never listen to it. I honestly don't know. Again, it's got very Yeezus inspired production. There's a lot of Ye inspiration on here. But yeah, this track's insane. That's like the one way I can describe it. I genuinely, when I was listening to the song, I was just kind of blown away, to be honest. You've got this really weird hook, which is kind of like stop-starty and kind of offbeat, but it's weird. I don't know if I like it. That's my main issue with the song. But I absolutely love the production on here. Travis goes crazy in Tizo Touchdown. Whilst I've not been a massive fan of him, Tizo Touchdown goes crazy on here too. Really great outro on the song. Now, I don't want to spoil the rest of my review, but My Eyes is one of my favourites on the album. Got another beat switch on here. The first beat, you've got this really sort of beautiful, low-key song, really mellow. Drums are barely present, they're quite low in the mix and stuff. And then you've got Sampha on it, which, you know, Sampha can never be bad. And then you go into the second half, which has an insane beat switch, which I feel like I'm saying throughout all of this review, so it's a drinking game, drink every time I say it. Insane. Where Travis goes off, and it's one of the fastest flows I've heard him do recently, at least. So yeah, another great song. Really great start to the album. This is another one I'm gonna get flat for, I think. God's Country, I'm not massive on. I don't dislike God's Country. I think it's quite an interesting song. I think Travis's performance is decent, especially when he goes into the sort of praise God inspired flow. Um, but no, I'm not a fan of the production on here. You've got this really sort of eerie sounding sample, which I think's cool, and I think could have been great had it been worked into a better beat. But I think the trap drums on here meshing with the sample, it doesn't really work for me, and it's not one of my favourites on here. I still like it to an extent because there are elements of the song I really like Travis's performance in like the later bit of the verse, as well as the sample. I think both are really cool. It creates a sort of unique atmosphere. I don't really like how it was executed. It's also the shortest song on here, which short songs can be good, but when you've got an album with loads of really cinematic songs, a song that's just over 2 minutes and isn't really that special isn't great. Of samples, Sirens does it really well. I love the sample in the opening part of this song. Um, you've then got another beat that sounds like something off of Jesus. I'm not joking, this album sounds like Travis Scott's version of Jesus, but yeah, this one's great. I really like this one. You've got loads of these sort of weird drum fills and stuff during the hook, and it just creates this really unique atmosphere. And it sort of feels like it's constantly like building, like the drums are like throughout the whole song, and it's really great. And then you've got a Drake skit at the end of the song to add to it, which let's just say it's not Drake's only involvement in the album. Meltdown is amazing. I'm not gonna lie. Meltdown is really great. Um, like I said, Drake's on here and he goes absolutely crazy on here. He's on the first beat and there's 3 beats on here, so this is kind of like the sicko mode of the album, 3 beat Drake feature. But yeah, it's really suited towards him. It's got this sort of slow trap bounce to it, and he just goes insane over it. You've then got this beat switch into a beat that I quite like. I'm not insane about it, but Travis is good on it. And then you've got another beat switch, obviously, like I said, and Travis goes off on this one as well. So yeah, just a pretty great trap banger. I could see being played a lot, and I could see being one of the bigger hits off the album. Fiend is interesting. It sort of feels like Travis Scott's take on a Rage song. Um, I don't love Rage music. Um, like you'll find out if you've seen pretty much all my videos. I talk about how much I don't like it, but Travis is good on here, and he actually managed to get a Playboy Carti feature. So yeah, that's proof that Travis Scott's better than Kid Cudi, I guess. No, I'm joking. I love both, but yeah, um, yeah, this track's really fun. That's the best way to describe it, I think. Um, it does have a rage-inspired beat, but it has a more sort of polished edge to it that a lot of rage songs don't. Which obviously you'd expect on a Travis album. That's one thing that's always there is great polished production. And yeah, Carter uses a deeper voice on here. He's not screaming and stuff. You know, he's actually rapping on here, which is quite interesting to hear. And it's way better than his feature on Popular. So yeah, maybe that's a good sign. I don't know. This is another one of my favourites on here. Um, Del Resto's got everything you could need in a song. But if you told me there was going to be a song on Utopia that featured Beyonce and Bon Iver, I would not have expected what we got here. That's for sure. On here, you've got this really sort of abrasive house song. It's like Yeezus meets Honestly Nevermind, I guess. Um, Beyonce's really great on here. Travis is pretty good on here, and then Bon Iver, you know, it's just beautiful. Justin Vernon's just doing his thing on here. Yeah, I really like this one. I know kind of feels like the Kylie song on this album, um, but in a good way. Um, it's got a really interesting beat. Sort of gives me similar vibes to Jonesborough off Business is Business, but more sort of trap influence rather than more old school influence, if you know what I mean. Which is a good thing. Jonesborough was a great song on Business is Business, in my opinion. You've then got these sort of more sort of low key vocals from Travis. You know, it's not as pronounced. Kind of similar vibes to like First Take in that sense. Like the hook on First Take obviously isn't the most pronounced. It's quite mumbled and slurred, but it's great. And this song's great too. It's another one of my favourites. I feel like I'm saying that for every song. Um, but seriously, I did a ranking of the album, which I'm not going to reveal because I might do a trackless ranking later on. Um, but I know is in the top three, which I get what people will be like, oh, but it's cringy, it's a breakup song, blah blah blah. It's good. It's really good. Topia Twins. What can I say about Topia Twins? Oh my god. Um, Rob 49's on here. If you told me that Rob 49 and Bad Bunny would be on Utopia like last year, I would not have believed you. Let's just say that. Obviously, I don't like Rob 49. I really don't like his solo stuff. But on here, he's actually not too bad. His verse is really short, so like, even though I don't really like him musically, it's fine. Um, and you've got 21 Savage on here, which this is probably another hot take, but this is his best feature on the album. Um, it's pretty basic 21 Savage stuff, but it's still good. So yeah, just got a pretty decent trap banger on this one. This is a really great song. I'm just gonna put that out there. Circus Maximus, I believe that's the name of his film, isn't it? Really great. Um, you've got another weekend feature on here, which he is amazing on because he's a great artist. It's a pretty big brag to have like the biggest artist in the world featured on your album twice, but yeah. Sway Lee is also doing his thing on here on the intro, and then you've got this really interesting production where it sort of sounds like it gives me Yeezus vibes. It's kind of like Black Skinhead if it were more vibey and melodic, if you know what I mean. Like you've got these really sort of like building, hard hitting drums, but then it's mixed in with this really beautiful elements, and Travis is great on it as well. So yeah, just another good song on here. I know I said I wasn't going to spoil my album ranking in case I did a video, but Parasail's my favourite song on here. I'm going to put that out there. It's probably a bit of a hot take because it is quite short, but it's a really nice sounding song. You've got no drums on this one, which creates a sort of emotional tone to it because it's just a guitar, but like it's still the usual Travis stuff. Um, but yeah, I kind of wish we had more tracks like this from him. Just no drums, just him doing weird shit over over a pretty low key instrumental. Young Lean's also on here, which is interesting. Um, Surprisingly, he didn't ruin the song. He was pretty decent on here. So yeah, that's that for Parasale. This is another take I'm gonna get a lot of stick for. Schizo I can tell's already like I can already tell it's gonna be a fan favourite from the album. You've got the Young Thug feature, you've got like 4 beats on here or something crazy like that. It's also the longest song I think on here, it's like over 6 minutes. But I'm not crazy about it. I do still like the song, but it is one of my least favourites off the album, I can definitely say that. It didn't really feel that special to me. Um, I don't like the first beat on here at all. I mean, there are elements on this song that I do like, for example, Young Thug's verse. I really like Young Thug on here. The last 2 beats are pretty good. The third beat's got this sort of hard hitting trap sound, but then you go almost like instantly into this like sample based old school beat that's really great. And yeah, it saves the song to be honest, because otherwise it would have just been a pretty meh song to me. Now, Lost Forever was one I was a bit apprehensive towards before I heard the album. I didn't listen to God's Country or Lost Forever before the album. I wanted to go in afresh. The only song from this album I'd heard before the album was K-pop. But yeah, I was a bit apprehensive because I knew West Side Gun was on this song, and let's just say I'm not the biggest fan of West Side Gun. Probably closer to the biggest hater of West Side Gun than the biggest fan. But yeah, even he can't ruin this song. Another beat switch on here. You've got this really sort of beautiful instrumental for the first bit. It's got this like eeriness to it. You've got I think it's James Blake. He's got vocals that are worked into the beat as well as like this sample, but it has this weird creepy beautifulness to it. Beautifulness, that's not even a word. Creepy beauty. That's what I meant to say. And then it goes into this more sort of minimalistic instrumental for West Side Gun's part, which I was like vibing out to the mellow elements of the first beat, and then West Side Gun comes in bloody as loud as he possibly can be. But no, it's actually a pretty good verse, to be fair to the guy. Then you've got another Travis verse with the sort of praise God flow that he used on Modern Jam, I think it was. But yeah, no, it was God's Country. I'm actually an idiot. I swear I did listen to this album. But yeah, this is another good song. Love sort of calls back to the more sort of abrasive sound of the first half of the album, but in a great way. Even though this beat feels all over the place, it's really groovy. Like it's got this really groovy element to it. And you've got this hook, which is just sort of like a run-on flow constantly. And then fucking Kid Cudi at the end of the song. Like I know I dissed him earlier on in the video, but I really do like Cudi's music as well. And he does his thing on here. I love the hook of this song. I guess you could say I love the hook of this song, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, this one's got a really interesting vibe to it, and it's another one of my favourites off the album. Now, K-pop's an interesting one. I've seen a lot of hate for this song, but honestly, I don't really get it. Like, when I first heard it, I was a bit disappointed too, 2 year wait, no songs, 5 year wait, no album, and we get this song that's barely got Travis on it. But taking away the fact that Travis Scott's barely on his own song on here, the song's really great. You know, I'm sort of at an advantage because I'm a massive fan of all three artists on the song. Um, but yeah, Bad Bunny's good on here. Travis is decent enough on here. The Weeknd goes crazy on this song, and then that beat, like, you know, I get that people were calling it commercial and stuff, but really it's not. It is a reggaeton beat to be fair, and reggaeton is very popular in the mainstream right now. But you know, I'm pretty basic like that. I'm a basic music listener. If you've got a catchy song, I will like it most likely. But yeah, I really like the reggaeton beat on here, and there's a lot of elements worked into it. It's very heavily layered. You've got vocals from the Weeknd like mixed into the beat and stuff, and all these sort of elements coming in and out. It's really interesting. Like genuinely, my favorite part of the song is the transition into Abel's verse, because the beat sort of slows down a bit, and you get all these weird like panning effects on it. It's really great. Telekinesis. This is another track that I really, really like. Another one of my favorites. You can probably tell what kind of Travis Scott songs I listen to. Of the favorites, to be honest, I do wish there were more sort of vibey songs on here. A lot of this album is very hard hitting. But yeah, I mean, when you first hear the title Utopia, you think that's what's going to be, is like really beautiful music, and then you've got probably his darkest sounding album yet. You know what I mean? But yeah, this one's really great. You've got this really sort of sleepy performance from Travis and Future in the beginning. I'm not saying sleepy to like discredit the song or whatever. I like sleepy performances. It's very sort of mellow, and then you've got this absolutely stunning scissor verse. She's on like the last 2 minutes of the song, and it's really great. And like, yeah, you know, you can't go wrong with Scissor. It's like I said with Sam Fat earlier. Scissor's one of those artists that always work on songs for me. Um, they've collabed quite a lot, to be honest. Like they obviously collabed on Scissor's last album like twice, I think, because Travis did ad libs for one of the songs, and he was also featured on Open Arms. Um, and yeah, they all become Scissor is becoming one of my favorite Travis collaborators. Now, Till Further Notice is another one of my lower ranking songs on the album, which again, it's another one that's going to end up a bit of a fan favourite, I think. This was one of the titles that was revealed before the album, but I ignored all that because, I didn't want to spoil the album for myself. But yeah, this one's good. It's just not great. James Blake's got a verse on it, and it's really nice. And then you go into this 21 Savage verse, which is just kind of meh to me. Travis is fine on here. Instrumental's fine on here. You've got this weird sort of creepy vocals worked into it. I think it's James Blake. I don't know if it's a sample or not. I've not actually checked Genius for the album yet because, I didn't want to spoil things. I listened to the album all the way through without checking Genius. Usually, I listen to an album and I'll go on Genius and scroll through the lyrics as the song plays. Usually, but I didn't do that with this one. So I don't know if it's a sample or if it's James Blake or whatever. It could be someone else for all I know. But yeah, it's a decent closer. I'm just not massive on it. So before I wrap up the review, I want to give some final thoughts on the record. I have a lot to say about it. I've got a lot of mixed emotions with it. I'm not disappointed by this album at all. I'm really happy it came out. There's not a bad song on here, in my opinion. But then there's also the part of me that kinda wanted something different. I wanted Nav on Utopia, but on a more serious note, I wanted more. You know, I don't really listen to Travis Scott for the bangers, really. I do listen to those, obviously, but like, I'm very much more into the more vibey, lower key stuff. So it wasn't an album that was made for me, but like, yeah. I still love everything he did on here. Where it would rank in my ranking, I don't know. Right now, I'm Birds first, Rodeo second, but it's sort of between this and Astroworld for third, and I don't know which one I prefer. I think Astroworld. I think this album's more consistent than Astroworld, but Astroworld had higher highs, so I don't really know. That's one that's going to have to take a while. But to be on the level of an album that I love as much as I love Astroworld, on what 3 listens, yeah, that's really great. And yeah, I do really enjoy this album. Not sure where it would be in my 2023 album ranking. It's definitely high. Like, I'm not talking like quite high. I'm talking about like this could be a top 3 album of the year for me so far. I need to work that out though, and I'm not spoiling my end of year lists by saying what else, what else would be there. But yeah, if you've watched this video all the way through, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked the video, leave a like. I do more album reviews and more just sort of general rap discussion videos. So if you're into that, consider subscribing. I upload quite frequently. But yeah, that's it from me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.